ColORCHESTRA is back.
Our new season of auditions for classical musicians is now available. Performance opportunities for students, young professionals, and seasoned artists.
Perform a concerto with orchestras around the world. We have 4 orchestras this season. Perform with orchestras throughout the US, Czechia, and Egypt. New this season, opportunities for composers to have their orchestral works recorded by the Boulder Symphony Orchestra, mastered and distributed on the world's most known music streaming platforms.
Audition live from the comfort of your own home. Get live evaluations from expert judges and expand your online presence through our international internet broadcasts. Additional award and performance opportunities are also available. Visit our website for full details. Don't miss out on these wonderful opportunities to advance as a musician and perform on a world-renowned stage. We look forward.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music programs. Thank you for joining us today for the second day of very exciting international auditions for the ColORCHESTRA project. Our channel is dedicated to bringing live performances and events from international artists from around the entire globe. I'm Anna Uspinskaya, I'm a pianist, and I'm joining from Washington, D.C. suburb for today's program. I'll be hosting this session for you, and I'm really excited and looking forward to extraordinary music we will be presenting live today. Musicians are auditioning for an opportunity to be featured as soloists with 4 extraordinary orchestras from different countries in different parts of the world. What you see on the screen is the 4 orchestras which are participating in the ColORCHESTRA project in this season. Last season we had Western New York Chamber Orchestra. This season we have 3 more orchestras joining this project and offering the winners of those auditions an opportunity to perform concertos or arias with their orchestras at their amazing venues. The goal of these auditions is to encourage, to nurture and reward musicians who are taking a very proactive stand on their career development and on sharing their art with wider audiences. Together with many organizations from around the world, we are providing these opportunities to musicians to be able to discover their own voice. How do you discover your own voice? By performing, by engaging with the audience, by traveling the world and playing and performing in front of people from different cultures. So we encourage musicians and artists to take the initiative to present themselves on their own terms. There are no restrictions for the repertoire choice, for example. So musicians choose the pieces which represent their artistry and their musical philosophy best. Of course, there are some requirements which are coming from the orchestra in order to be featured as a soloist, but a little bit more about that later. So let's take a look at what is happening this weekend. There are auditions which started yesterday and Friday, and we go all day today. We'll go all day tomorrow on Sunday and more on Monday, and there will be another audition which is scheduled for the next weekend. So you see there are performers which will be presenting pieces which they chose specifically for each orchestra. So on the screen you see the orchestra, the conductors, the music directors of those orchestras, and pictures of the candidates. And each session is dedicated to several concertos or arias. So whenever you get a chance to tune in and watch, you will not miss out. You will hear extraordinary music being presented. And I would like to underscore also that all this music is presented live. Performers are in their own locations, so we created this virtual stage where musicians from different locations join the broadcast in real time. So this is a live performance, real-time performance, for which you don't have to spend extraordinary amount of money to travel and to see. They are in the concert halls, in the studios, in their own homes sometimes. So you get invited into the very intimate setting of their own space. So let me just introduce the organizers of these ColORCHESTRA auditions. We are blessed and very grateful for dozens and dozens organizations who join our forces, join our effort, and add their own expertise, their own time, effort, resources to this initiative to open the wider stages for musicians from all walks and for all parts of the world. These particular auditions are organized by ArtistVenture, Espressivo competition, progressive musicians, and virtual concert halls in excellent collaboration with Western New York Chamber Orchestra, Bohuslav Martinu Philharmonic, Cairo Opera Orchestra, and Boulder Symphony Orchestra. And with, of course, the great support, as I mentioned, of many, many organizations around the world. You saw the screen is really crowded now with the logos of organizations which are joining us, and we are very, very grateful for our supporters' efforts. Auditionees from many, many countries are also seeking guidance and support from the judges. Now, these auditions are held in a slightly different format. You know, when you go to the competition, when we're used to, as musicians, going to competitions, right? Most of the time we perform and then there is silence and the judges think what they think, and we probably never find out what they really think unless we ask for written comments. Well, written comments might come a few days or weeks later. By then, the judges may have forgotten how we played, but I certainly remember when I was competing, I would have forgotten how I played. So today you will hear judges come on screen, join the broadcast, and share their immediate feedback with the artists, which is very important because music lives in the immediate interaction. So we perform in the concert halls, or now on virtual stage as well, in front of the live audience. Now we're performing in front of the live judges, and we get that immediate response, which is so important for our growth, for learning and developing our communicative skills as music artists. Auditionees will be heard today live, and of course each of the judges will provide their feedback after each performance today. So a few quick words about the organizers. The Sound Espressivo Global Competition is focused on online performance and live streaming. It combines the competitive environment with live performance experience, as I already said, of all the auditionees from around the world. Progressive Musicians is the organizer of many and large variety of events for different levels of artists, and also organizer of many concerts, including at prestigious venues like at the Carnegie Hall. Virtual Concert Halls is the internet TV broadcaster, providing artists of all walks of life with an opportunity to learn and perform on virtual stage, and include that in the roster of the stages which they perform on, so that they can reach well beyond the limitations of conventional concert halls. ArtistVenture is a company focused on providing performance opportunities in the physical venues for musicians in Europe, Asia, and beyond. ArtistVenture organizes tours in many countries, in prestigious concert halls, also festivals, master classes, seminars, and many other fairs for musicians.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Espressivo Global Competition. Fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community, an extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities, Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.
So today, tomorrow, Monday, and next weekend, you will hear musicians who are specifically auditioning for the solo spotlight to perform, to be featured soloist with one of the four international orchestras. But I wanted also to introduce everyone to additional awards. There's so many awards throughout this season which are sponsored by our collaborators. So everyone who is performing today and who's everyone who's auditioning for other auditions or competitions throughout the season is also considered for those awards. So let's see on the screen, the awards are sponsored by companies from around the world, and there's a wide variety of those awards. For example, there's an award which will promote someone in a way of recording, mastering, publishing, and distributing an album. So there's three awards for that for this season. There's an Audience Favorite Award, which introduces musicians to the concept of connecting with their fans and inviting them to vote. So the audience gets their voice heard, and the winner of that is awarded cash awards. There are also full sponsorships to attend various masterclasses, programs in different countries, in the United States, in Europe and Asia. There are awards which invite musicians to join tours and so forth. And there are dozens and dozens of awards. Please check out on our websites. All musicians who audition throughout the season are automatically considered. The judges will give recommendations, and the companies which are sponsoring those awards will make the final decisions at the end of the season. And no, you don't have to audition many times. You can enter even just once to be entered in the pool of candidates for those awards. And this is time for me to introduce our judges for this session, and we will have today the music director and the conductor for the concert with the Martinu Bohuslav Philharmonic Orchestra, Georg Sargsyan, who is hailed as one of the most inspiring artists of this generation. Georg Sargsyan is based in Singapore. He's originally from Armenia. He's a recipient of a very prestigious George Schultz Award, and he has been a guest conductor with many orchestras and various prestigious venues all throughout the world. And Georg is currently also artistic director of music hubs with the Ministry of Culture of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Georg, welcome. Thank you for joining us today on this broadcast. So let's have Georg join us. Can we see? Yes, Georg, welcome. Thank you.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Very generous, introduction of my humble career, and I look forward for some amazing music today. I have seen in the list we have pianists, harpists, I think, to listen to, and I really look forward for the Rachmaninoff.
Yeah, we have a complete Rachmaninoff second. Can't wait to hear that. And we are also joined by a pianist and artist manager, Dikran Adamyan. He's a founder of the Praise Productions. Dikran's career spans many decades, performing at the most prestigious concert halls with every well-known name of a conductor, with every orchestra there is to perform with for many decades. He won some of the most prestigious awards as a pianist, as a very young pianist. He won the Nuremberg Award, and he performed commissioned works. He recorded numerous albums and with orchestras and solo. Phenomenal pianist and also an absolutely astounding artist manager. So let's have Dikran join us for this broadcast. We are very honored and pleased, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Anna. I'm glad to be here. It's a phenomenal setup you have. I'm new to this, so I think it's pretty amazing what you've done. So I'm really looking forward to being present.
Thank you, and thank you for
Yeah.
taking time. I know this is
No,
like
it's no
6 o'clock in the morning for where you are in California.
Yeah, well, I get up early, actually. The older I get up earlier.
So this is really wonderful to have you to join
Yeah.
us, and thank you for making time.
It's
And
amazing. Two Armenians on the jury. Wow. When do you get that?
I'm very much looking forward to the comments. And
Yeah.
yeah, and with this, we will be inviting our first performer on stage. And I need to make sure I read the name correctly. This will be Rajat Chaudhuri, and please forgive me if I mispronounced your name, a pianist presenting the entire Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto No. 2 in C minor, opus 18, in 3 movements. First movement, Moderato. Second movement, Adagio sostenuto. Third movement, Allegro scherzando. And we are in for a feast of music. Rajat, the stage is all yours. Welcome and enjoy it. Wow, wow. What a great morning coffee. This is fantastic. Thank you very much. And I'll pass on the baton to our judges.
Who wants to?
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
You want me to go first? Okay. I can't pronounce his name. What is his first name?
Rajat.
Rajat. Is that correct? Rajat. Oh, here it is at the bottom. Okay. Rajat, you're a very talented guy. And the piece, as you know, is quite demanding in many ways. I think your sound is big. You project very well. Of course, I can't tell because of the piano, it's closed and so on, but even with it closed, it projects quite well. The thing that I noticed that's very strong is your finger work. It's your fingers are very independent and they cut. But some of the forearm playing, I think you could possibly profit from sitting a little higher so that you're not making double motions, going up for a chord and things like that, like and the reason I say that is because if you feel the harmonic impetus in a passage like that, you'll see that you want to go to the downbeat and not delay the downbeat. In other words, da 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 da, da, not that kind of thing, but go towards that downbeat, and everything else that comes before it is really like bridge material. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're trying to make a big deal or a melodic thing out of each quaver instead of getting it over with and going to the downbeat, and that would help the conductor as well and the orchestra. There's some moments where I feel you don't know how long to stay in a harmony. Sometimes you leave the harmony too quickly and sometimes you stay in it too long. So, harmonic impetus and harmonic tension and all of those kinds of things really are very important in all music, especially a work like this. But I think you have a very good grasp of the piece. And we have a very little time here to discuss it, but I think that, you have a very good future. And I would work on overall some of the chordal passages and forearm things over the finger work. I think you have the finger work quite well. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people fake a lot of these passages and you play them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Yeah. I think it's very impressive, but there are some things also musically. Try not to do any cliched things that you've heard before, like listening to William Capell or listening to Boulez or Horowitz or anyone. Just play it the way you feel it. Hear the harmonies the way you hear them, rather than because I heard a few, da 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 da, those kind of the famous melodies. I have a feeling you could say something more with them if we heard your real opinion. You know what I mean? Rather than a conglomeration of interpretations. And it's easy to get into that because there's so many recordings available of this piece or any piece for that matter. So, say something that's yours, make it yours. And in the opening, with all the arpeggiations, try not to just outline, but because you have the fingers to do that. And later on, you show that where you hit the C minor, yum. That was just brilliant. But the opening is not as hard. And we'd like to hear not just the harmony there, but actual notes.
Right.
So in a way, and you're not going to hear them with the orchestra sawing away on that melody, they have the theme, the opposite of the third concerto. You know, the orchestra has all the hard stuff there in the beginning. The opposite is true here, and we have to hear that melodic and harmonic stuff in the beginning, not just the harmony. Okay, so you know, it's kind of a combination, combo burrito, I would call it. You know, you're not doing the same thing all the time, which is good. In other words, the minute I think you're thinking harmonically, you might not be, and the minute I think you're thinking melodically, you might not be. You know what I mean? Right. But that's just my opinion. I'm just saying, you know, it could be even greater. And in the slow movement, don't wait for those downbeats. Ba da 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 ya da 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 ya da. I mean, go get on with it. Don't try to make the moving notes more musical than they really are. In other words, you got to know where to go to, and then I would take time after hitting the downbeat. In other words, not before it.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So get there and then relax and then move on. Anyway, it's just, you know, you did a great job. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you, Dikran, very much. I'm taking notes, by the way. These are fantastic suggestions, not just for Rachmaninoff, for everything. You work...
Well, thank you for this presentation, Rajat. I will be a little bit shorter, and obviously I'm coming from not a pianistic perspective. I'm a conductor. I'm not a pianist. My instrument is cello. So my remark will be mostly associated with orchestra, you know, and how do you see yourself as on a soloist chair. First of all, because I'm not a pianist, this version of Rachmaninoff without orchestra or without orchestral part is very new to me. I'm listening to it. I obviously I hear the orchestra behind it, as I know, as I've conducted it, and all, and I can tell that you know orchestra part very well. That's very much in your system. I can see that, and that's exactly why it begs a question: why does it? In my opinion, you were jumping for the long pauses of, you know, when the orchestra is playing and piano is on a pause. You were jumping from one to another a bit too fast. Give yourself, I mean, you know, in that sense, when there's orchestra, you will be waiting, right?
Right.
So when you wait, and this is the power of breathing and power of the pause. You change the touch, you change the heartbeat, even probably change. So I guess that's because of the lack of the collaborative pianist at the moment. But of course, it's not to say something is wrong. It's just a remark. What I wanted to ask you, more of a discussion base, in the second movement, you know, the famous da 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 ti da 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 ti da 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 ti da ti da. Is it me, or you were trying to make it sound like it's not a triplet? You know, and this is where I agree with Dikran when he said, don't use cliches wherever you heard it, but rather have your own thing. I'm reading your biography, and you come from a place which has its own cultural important, let me see what's happening here, sorry, which it comes from a culturally very rich and important heritage. So I believe if only you will be able to have that in you, while you are playing Rachmaninoff or any other instrument, that will probably be an amazing experience. And this is not to say that what you play is wrong or anything. It's just, I have heard such Rachmaninoff before. I wanted to hear Rajat's Rachmaninoff specific a bit more in it, right? I think that's also what Tigran mentioned about. In my personal opinion, there was a little bit too fast also moving from one movement to another. One of the ways how soloists present it's the audience, you know, let audience settle a bit before you give them a completely different mood in second movement or from the second to the third. Right. These are the things. It's a good thing we are discussing this, because that means you are at a level where we don't talk technicalities. We are talking about completely different high level stuff where stage presence and audience engagement is at stake. So yeah, I will not go into technical part of piano things. My colleagues are much better in this, and I guess I will conclude on this. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to hear.
Yes, Rajat, please ask questions. This is the moment for you to really find out what you would like to hear from a conductor and a pianist, your judges.
Right. Well, one thing I have a question about is so my approach to the opening of the second movement with the hemiola was I was trying to feel it as triplets and then phrase towards like stronger harmonies, but I think I have lingered on the what do you call it, on the individual notes a bit too much, and therefore it sounded like it was sort of not moving forward. My question would be is like how do I kind of um, mentally make that adjustment so that it comes across more intuitively? Because I think I know theoretically how to do it, but I'm trying
My
to do it intuitively.
my answer to that will be very simple: sing it, hum it,
Right.
and check where is it that you naturally take breath, and that will be the answer.
Okay, that's really
Hum it, and then see where is it that you absolutely need to take a breath, because it's such a legato that in fact whether it's triplet, whether it's duplet, or whether it doesn't really matter as much as the flow. It's written in a way that for people who don't know, it will sound four notes up, four notes da 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 ti, da da da, but then it's written as a da da ti da 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 triplet. So
right.
in any situation like that, collapse it, and just bring it into a single quavers without thinking about what, and see if you can hum it, sing it. I would do it that way. I don't know if Tika has other suggestions.
Okay, that's really helpful.
Yeah, Dekran, do you have something to add to the question from Rajat?
No, I agree. I agree with the maestro. I think this second movement is much ado about nothing. It's the most natural, it's the most natural. It's like the Shakespeare, right? It's a very natural harmonic progression. And I think what he's saying is just leave it alone, in a way,
Right.
but I do believe a lot of pianists have this cliched idea of stopping after da da dee da, like he said, after four notes. Why? There's no indication harmonically. I know I'm speaking about harmony all the time, but I think harmony dictates policy.
Yeah.
I mean, the melody doesn't dictate the policy, the rhythm doesn't, the bass does. As a matter of fact, if you want to go further, the bass is what matters.
Yes.
Like in a fugue or in a figured bass or any of those things. Even in a Mozart sonata or concerto, the bass totally clues you in, because you can build all kinds of harmonies on these bass notes, right? It depends on which one you're building. So I think you have to decide, like I said before, in the whole piece, though, I would say, like, there are many passages. Don't think of that as octaves with a note in between. Think of it as a single note. Like he said, sing it,
Right.
because and technically you're making double motions. You're going up and then down. See, I would just be up and then just move laterally.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? You're making it more difficult for yourself. The same with that passage.
Right.
One other thing. In your case, you need to play the fast notes faster and the longer note values longer. It just so happens that the harmonies dictate that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For example, da-dee, da-da-da-dee, da-da. Hold that A flat longer,
Right.
and then move the moving notes more. Don't make melodies da-dee, da 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 dee. You know what I mean? A lot of people do that. I mean, I believe it's
Motion forward.
well, yeah, I believe in
Yeah, absolutely.
no verticality. Now, the conductor, of course, wants to be, I don't blame him, he wants to be together. But if you feel the music, you will be together.
Right.
Okay, we are used to it. We can catch. Just be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you are, because you're a fine conductor. You know,
Right. Right.
yeah.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're welcome. No, I'll just be honest, many conductors will not follow. You've got to follow them. Georg is not one of those. He's one of those that believes in the soloist, and it's his interpretation, and he's going to go with you. Not that he's not going to contribute; he will contribute.
Right.
But it's a collaboration, right? But
Yeah.
you can't. You got to get on with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And even in the bum 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 at the end when he's going da 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 dee da da, and you've got all these chords, don't hold him back. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let
That's
him
great.
go. Let him go, and you fit your chords in. You
Right.
know. He knows where to go. You know.
Wonderful. Thank you. Now, Rajat, do you have any other questions?
Nothing else as such. This was really, really insightful. Like I'm so excited to work on all these like little details now. It's really, yeah, it's a privilege.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No,
I mean, as
was
a
a
pianist to
privilege for
pianist, I played this concerto with many different conductors. This is so great. You hear from the conductor who will work with you together, which doesn't happen always, and that's so right. You can take that opportunity and really delve into what you want to do with each of those melodies, even fast melodies. The fast passages are just melodies written in shrunk notes.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Rajat, for this wonderful presentation. And thank you, judges, for such an insightful, helpful commenting. I have my sticky notes over here. I'm writing after you because that applies to my own playing. Thank you all very much. And we will be saying goodbye to Rajat and his wonderful
Bye-bye,
performance. Bye-bye. Thank you.
you later.
Congratulations. See you later.
Congrats.
Yep. And I'd like to take a quick moment to introduce one more judge who's joining us now. Let's welcome Joanna Moffat. She is an opera
Hi,
singer.
Joanna.
Hello, Joanna. What a great pleasure
How
to
are
have you
you?
with us today. She's a founder of Core Productions, which is the opera company in Chicago, promoting and moving forward the presentations of contemporary operas and operas in various unconventional settings. She works with many singers, conductors, orchestras, and we're very, very grateful that you were able to join us today. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you, Joanna. And with that, we'll be moving on to our next performer for this session 3 of ColORCHESTRA International Auditions. I'm reminding everyone that you're watching a live broadcast with performers presenting their pieces, their choice of the repertoire in front of the judges. Everything is happening live. So if you hear me stumbling over my words, that's because I have not been edited. I am live right now in front of you, and so are everyone, including the performers. We just heard Rajat Chaudhuri performing the entire Rachmaninoff Concerto Number 2 in C minor, and we'll be inviting on stage our next candidate for the opportunity to shine with one of the orchestras as a featured soloist, Jacqueline Liu, pianist. She will be performing Mozart Concerto Number 26 in D major, Köchel Number 537, the Coronation First Movement, Allegro. Jacqueline, the stage is all yours. Welcome. Wow.
Very good.
Wonderful. What a great tradition and wonderful performance. Thank you so much. I'm quickly passing the baton to our judges.
Okay, Gevorg, you go first.
Sure. This time I can do it. Hi, Jacqueline. I was listening to it and I was thinking, is it true that you're 10? You sound like you have 10 years of experience playing this concerto alone. You know. Look, Jacqueline, I'm not a pianist, so again, I will not be commenting as a pianist, but I'll be commenting as an audience and as a conductor and as a musician generally. I hear a lot of almost Prokofiev touch to it, but of course, there's very strong, control over the keyboard. But don't worry, piano is not running anywhere. It's with you. Come closer. It's not running anywhere. It was very notable that you are using pedal very, very skillfully. Sometimes a little bit too long, sometimes a little bit too short, but you are very much aware. It's almost natural to you, which is very important. I wonder what is your imagination? Let's say right now next to you is not a collaborative pianist. By the way, thank you to him as well. But you are surrounded by an orchestra. And what will be your reaction to that? Will you be able to hear the orchestra around you? Because it seems like you are very very well aware of what are you doing, but what is your sense of surrounding? Are you listening to the pianist next to you, or you are hearing him? What do you think?
Yes, it's like I hear the orchestra part and I also hear my own part.
Right. See, this is where probably it's an English language thing. Let me just give you a friendly advice. Try to distinguish between hear and listen to. Listening to and hearing. You know the difference, right? Yeah. So one of them. But of course, I mean, you totally get me with the technical part and with your control over the keyboard and everything. Now, the tempo was another thing. I noticed that you maintain it from A to Z, and big round of applause just because of that. Because sometimes it's not an easy task. Sometimes when it comes to that ritenutos feelings, cadenza part and all that, you tend to veer off from the original tempo, and then when you come back to a recapitulation, you are somewhere else. But you managed to keep it in one straight line, which is very remarkable. So yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I will pass on the baton of speaking, but it was really nice. Thank you so much, Jackie.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Georg, for the commenting. And I would like to see if we can give a round of applause to your fabulous collaborators,
Yes, of
pianist.
course.
Yes.
Very good.
Can we have a bow from your collaborator?
Yes.
Thank you very much for your wonderful support of Jacqueline's performance. Yeah, and now to the next judge.
Well, I'll
How
jump
about-
in here.
Yeah.
Jacqueline. Hi, Jacqueline. I'm Joanna. Your playing is spectacular. I really, really was blown away by your delicate sense of dynamics and also your delicate sense of like minute rubato and pushing the tempo forward. It was so impressive to me. It made me so excited to listen to each phrase, and I was really captured the entire time. And I can't remember the last time I was so excited to hear a cadenza. I was just like sitting on pins and needles, waiting to hear what you were going to play, and of course it was spectacular. So I'm really, really impressed. I agree with Gevorg. There's something. The sound that you need to hear now is how you fit inside of the orchestra. How do those two voices interact, and how how can you bring the brilliance of your playing to support and to be supported by the orchestra? I think that there's something that's going to bring it to the next level once you get into that playing space. But man, you're spectacular. I really enjoyed your playing. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Joanna, for the comments.
Very good.
And Dick Fran, your comments, please.
Sure. It's very amazing things in that performance, and it's very prodigious playing, both musically, structurally, and pianistically. It's very, very impressive. You really are 10, huh? Wow. So,
No one can believe that, huh?
not to be critical, of course. There are a couple of things. Everybody talks about the Brahms dot and the Mozart dot, the staccato, right? So it's not really a composer thing. It's a textural and tempo thing. I think sometimes your short notes, your staccato notes are too short, especially in that theme. It doesn't have to be like a Woody the Woodpecker. It's too slow of a tempo. Sorry about this screen here. It's too slow of a tempo in the theme to do. In other words, that staccato should be related to the tempo and to the texture of the passage that you're playing. Now, in some cases, to be honest, Mozart, he wrote some staccato marks that are questionable, So, and Bach didn't even have directives like that, So, just listen to the harmonies. I hate to repeat it again with the previous person, and listen to the texture in your case before you shorten a note so much. And don't play a note until you absolutely have to. You did some beautifully expensive, that thing way up high. That was beautiful, the way you phrased that and felt it. Do that more often. In other words, when you have a large interval, take your time so the ear can hear that expansive interval. Shorter intervals are easier to hear, but when you have body, and you did that, I thought, very well. I agree with Gevorg. It could be the piano, it could be the mic. It was a little Bartokian, at times, or Prokofievian, or whatever you want to call it. Not avant-garde, but, the sound I think you can enjoy the sound of this concerto is a fabulous piece, and you really reminded me how incredible the piece really is. I've never heard it quite played like you, so it's really admirable. The sound was a little brittle, but that will come with age, and you have to listen to the sound quality of the instrument you're playing, and you have to acclimate to that instrument and that hall wherever you are. I don't know where you are. It sounds like
looks
you're
beautiful.
in Steinway. Yeah, it looks like a Steinway dealership or something. But wherever it is, you have to acclimate to the acoustic and the piano, and I know that's difficult. That's why I quit. I can't stand piano. The pianos are outrageous, on the road. So anyway, the point is, I'm sensitive to all of those problems, but you can do something, like he says. Listen to yourself, actually, like he said in the previous guy, or you said it to her. Listen or hearing is two different things. Listening and hearing. You really have to listen to yourself and be very critical of the sound you're producing. And if we had time, we could go into how to do that production. But I think you have a little bit of digitalis in your technique, in your approach, I should say, to the piano, not technique. In other words, not so much détaché and not so much, I would say most people need to articulate more. You do not.
Your articulation is remarkable.
No, the articulation is incredible, but there in that passage, I was hearing a lot of thumb sometimes, and not all of that melodic stuff on top. And you have the fingers to do it. So in other words, don't just pound out the thumb in a passage like that. On the other hand, in some of the scalar things, they were so spectacularly independent. Your fingers were like, a McCullough chainsaw, it was amazing clarity, but maybe the notes need to be, one person said to me once, it's the space between the notes that matter, not the notes. Okay. So yours are separated so well, maybe play, if you can keep your fingers closer to the keyboard and add pressure on, equal pressure on every note, you can have a bigger legato than it sounds like you have. But then again, it could have been the piano and the acoustic. I don't know. Or the microphone. I don't know. I think the biggest thing is texture, like staccatos and legatos, and decide what kind of a sound you want out of a short note. Don't just, pop it. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. Listen to yourself. But you're only 10, so maybe we should disregard all of those things I just said. I don't know.
Only 10. And I want to also do a shout out to your teacher, because it takes a tremendous work together with your teacher to develop to this incredible level so quickly. I don't know when you started learning piano, but you definitely started learning it less than 10 years ago. But you sound like it's been much longer than that. Maturity of the touch, the technique, and the musicality is incredible. You were led by a wonderful musician. So I don't know who your teacher is, but please pass on my congratulations to the work was done with you.
Yeah, very good.
Jacqueline, how long have you been working on this piece?
Like about 4 months.
4 months.
It's very quick. Very
That's
quick.
fast.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
You're really a confident musician and a pianist. Wonderful. Congratulations. Do you have any questions to the judges?
Thank you.
It's okay not to have any questions if you don't have any, but fire them if you have any questions. It's now is the moment for you to just interact and ask
Or
for anything you want.
Yeah,
Or challenge.
We should be challenged.
Argue.
I don't have any questions.
That's
No
all right.
problem.
No problem at all. Well, bravo to you, your accompanist and your teacher. Thank you so much. Wonderful. And we'll be saying goodbye to Jacqueline. And regretfully, this is the end of her performance. Today, we'll hear more and more of her, I'm sure, in the future. Thank you, Jacqueline, very much.
Thank you, Jack.
And I want to mention that originally we had one more performer scheduled for this session. Anna Maria Mendieta was rescheduled to a different session, and we'll make that announcement when you can hear her. She is a harpist, and we're very much looking forward to hearing harp on these auditions. It'll happen probably later on today or tomorrow or Monday. So, and I also want to thank the judges very much. This was extremely helpful, and I'm learning a lot from how you comment for the young performers and for the candidates for this audition. It applies to my own playing. Thank you very much. We will be concluding this session and saying goodbye to the judges for just a very short period of time, because our next session is coming up in just an hour or so. So any concluding comments from you for this session?
I'm just grateful to learn so much from these two other judges.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
guess-
Rajat, yes, I actually do have comments on Rajat's playing, if that's okay.
Say it again.
I had Rajat asked if I had any questions about, or if I had any comments on their playing.
Oh, would you like to
and
share
I
some
do.
comments for
Yeah.
Rajat?
Oh my gosh, Rajat, it was, your technique is so spectacular. It was captivating just watching you play through those passages. I agree. I don't think I've ever seen anyone play with such, or some of those arpeggios and things like just with such strength and agility. I was very impressed. I started to feel like you settled into your sound and your idea of the piece around the end of the second movement. It started to feel like you were, kind of coming into it, and I would just encourage you to go back and listen to that place and try to imagine what you were feeling, so that you can bring that sense of what you want the sound to be like to the rest of the piece, because it felt so good in that moment. And it's such a Dickie said, it's such a non-movement movement. And when I started to feel you settle, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And so the third movement started really, really positively. And I felt like I could hear how you felt like your sound would interact with the orchestra, but then it kind of got away from you in some of the faster passages. So just go back to that and listen and see if you can catch that.
So you're referring to that fast section of the second movement, right, Joanna?
No, the slow section, the second movement, when it settles down into just the ending right before it gets into the crazy fast stuff. Maybe
okay.
I don't know.
The recap.
Are we
recap,
talking about the rock? We're talking about the
Rachmaninoff.
Rachmaninoff, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I just didn't know what we were talking about at first.
I got really excited when you asked if I had any comments. Yeah, sorry.
That's right. Yeah, Johanna was watching. We just didn't have her in the studio at the moment.
Yeah.
So, Rajat, you get the comments from Johanna after watching your entire performance. We just didn't have her in the studio at the moment. When
we should have had
finished.
someone singing "Full Moon and Empty Arms" during the Rachmaninoff. You know that the Arau did it in that movie.
Yeah.
It was some romantic movie or something.
I was screaming when Gevorg was telling you to like sing the passages, because that's exactly what I thought. I was like, if he sings this, he's gonna know where to breathe. He's gonna know how he wants it to settle. It's like I was just like, like screaming at the screen. Yes.
Yeah, singing those fast passages is extremely helpful. Yep, it's just not easy to do.
You should conduct it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You should conduct these pieces away. Most of the work should be done away from the piano, away from the voice, away from, just have a breakthrough in the shower or something, you know.
Yeah,
I usually
You
do,
know,
you know.
I mean, when you're at the piano and it's too present, you know, you can't really think about it when you're doing, you need to think about it when you're driving, you know, whatever.
yeah, you need distance, not to be too close
Yeah,
up.
lots of
Absolutely.
distance.
Yeah, well, you need both. Go distant, then go back to the mechanics of it to make sure your technique supports what you want to do,
Absolutely.
and then get the ideas from a bit more taking distance from the piece. That's a perpetual process. All right. Well, thank you all very, very much. We'll be saying goodbye to the judges at the moment. Yes. And I want to also remind everyone that you're watching ColORCHESTRA Live Auditions for an opportunity to be selected as a featured soloist with one of the 4 orchestras. This session was particularly dedicated to the soloists who are candidates for performance with the Bohuslav Martinu Philharmonic, the orchestra in Zlin. And today we had, as judges, we had Georg Sargsyan, who is a conductor and who is will be conducting the scheduled concert with the soloists who were selected from those auditions. We also had Dikran Adamian, who is a pianist and the arts and music manager. And we also had Joanna Moffat, who is the opera singer and the director of the opera company in Chicago. So thank you, judges, very much for your very helpful comments. And we'll hear more of your comments in the next sessions. Now, I would like to also remind everyone that we are, of course, in the midst of massive auditions. We'll hear 60 plus performances over the next 4 days. There's more auditions coming up. Our season is packed, and watch out for the deadlines to apply. You can apply with a video and then go through the pre-selection process. And if you're selected, you'll be invited back for the live audition, just like what you're observing now, for the next round of auditions for performance at the Carnegie Hall. So, and we have a quick clip produced by one of our team members, Chris Au. Let's see that little reel about the upcoming auditions for the Carnegie performances.
Hey, check this out. I know you have always dreamed of performing in Carnegie Hall, so I think this 2023 to 2024 season at Sound Espressivo would be perfect for you. As a platform, we host live online auditions so you can share your music with the entire world. Then we send you to incredible in-person venues like Carnegie Hall so you can perform solo, as a duo, as an ensemble, and with orchestra. This year we have a total of 4 gala events at Carnegie Hall, as well as 4 different opportunities to perform with orchestras in the US, in the Czech Republic, and even in Egypt. We want to help you fulfill your musical dreams. Go to soundespressivocompetition.com to check out our season and to apply.
The Carnegie Hall performances are coming up in April 1st and April 4th, and then we have another gala concert scheduled at the Carnegie Hall on July 1st. So there are opportunities for musicians to perform with the orchestra, solo, ensemble. The concerts are recorded live from the Carnegie Hall, and musicians receive a copy of their video of their own performances, and we accept candidates to perform arias, concertos. There are also recital candidates, so you can perform solo on any instrument. There is no age limitation. There's no limitation to the choice of the repertoire. The only limitation is, of course, you need to feel and be sure that you are ready to step on this stage, and as many of you are. We get applications from incredible musicians, so make sure you check out the deadlines and apply. You will also be part of the pool for audience favorite awards, for classical recognition awards, and for many other opportunities provided by companies and organizations from around the world. Our auditions will be streamed on many platforms. You'll be seen, will bring attention, and will bring people's interest to your performances by providing those venues and platforms for you to present your music and your art to larger audiences and to spark the interest in the great music. There is also a call for composers. If you've written the piece and you would like that piece presented at the Carnegie Hall by musicians, please send us your score. Please apply. Your scores will be considered, and you can have your for example, you can have your quartet piece presented by Leonard Quartet. You can have your musicians of your own selection presenting your piece, or we can recommend professional artists who are very interested and very eager to perform newly written music. We support composers. We support living composers and their work because you guys write great stuff. And I also want to mention, if you haven't seen many of our programs, we are live every day with music and musicians from around the world. That's a series of interviews, presentations, discoveries of artists, performers, teachers, educators, and managers. We bring in people from related fields to share how to develop your career, how to interact with your audience, how to make sure you reach out to people who are out there and want to enjoy your music, want to enjoy your artistry. Also, we are presenting a series of music films which were created in collaboration with architects of music dedicated to Beethoven symphonies, the series of Magnificent Nine. And let's see a little peek preview of that.
It is terse, it is compact. Its dynamic energy is concentrated into a mere 9.5 minutes of music, the shortest opening movement of Beethoven's 9 symphonies. And it's all the more stunning because of the bold, unprecedented way in which it begins. Known to practically every living being on Earth. It's that powerful.
Yes, so this is a very short preview. The programs were recorded with Lawrence Rabchak, the narrator and the author of the research and of the program. Some of you probably heard that magic voice if you had a chance to stay or live in Chicago and go to the concerts by the wonderful Chicago Symphony Orchestra. He has been giving pre-concert lectures for years and years for Chicago Symphony. Now, if you are not from Chicago, or if you didn't happen to hear the symphony live in person, then you didn't get a chance to be touched by his magic narration and storytelling. Now we bring it to you through the programs dedicated to all 9 symphonies with great music on license from Naxos, and exploration of the architecture of how Beethoven built the structure of each symphony and how each element in that symphony is connected with other elements to really create that incredible impact which Beethoven's music has had at the time and continues to have on everyone. This is an insight behind the curtain into the construction of a, imagine of it as being a great cathedral. How was it built? How was it made? So if you're curious to learn, to find out more, and Larry is an incredible narrator with a lot of charm and a lot of humor in there too. So those programs are live every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every Sunday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. And I hope you tune in because I'm sure those programs will be extremely engaging and interesting to everyone. So thank you very much. With this, I'm going to thank our fabulous team at Virtual Concert Halls for creating and producing these programs, for supporting on the technical back end and on the end of our reach. Thank you all. We have wonderful directors. We have wonderful audio video engineers who prepare these programs, graphic designers. And by the way, everyone whose names you see on the screen are professional musicians, so they know exactly what musicians need, what we want, how we want to sound, how we want to be presented. So you're in good hands. And great applause to today's directors, Jennifer and Marco, James, and Ante. We had 4 people producing these programs. So thank you guys very much for your great support. And with that, I will conclude this program today. We have just over 1 hour until the next session. And I hope you all join us for the next session. We'll have more absolutely great music for you then. For now, bye. See you later.